Hello and welcome to Giuseppe's Gardening, and let me say that this is a very emotional and a very sad day, as this will be the final ever episode of Giuseppe's Gardening. Yes, I'm just trying to keep it together. Apollo's quite upset. We just broke the news to him over the last hour. In fact, it is breaking news. It's just been the last few days have just been quite incredible. In fact, Apollo is so emotional that he's starting to chase and eat his own tail. You know, these sort of events make us do crazy things. But you know, we've gone through the last 5 weeks. We've gone through an emotional journey of gardening together. We've gone through the highs and the lows, and we've experienced some incredible times and inspiration as fellow gardeners. But right now, I can hear you all saying, "But why, Giuseppe? Why is this the last ever episode?" Well, let me tell you on just a few things that you know, my manager has advised me not to talk, to keep things. I can't disclose too much, but let me say a few things. I've got to get a few things off my chest. And the first thing is that you know, I actually smell a rat. In fact, I smell an Indian rat. Why, you may say? An Indian rat? What are you talking about? Well, let me say that over the last few days, some of our famous magazines and some of our famous publications have published a few stories regarding Giuseppe's Gardening and me leaving the show. And the first one, which is the famous magazine called The Weekly OK. Strange name, but a very well respected magazine. Actually publicised and broke the news of me leaving the show. Now, if you want to know more, get yourself a copy and read it. But like I said, I actually smell an Indian rat, because the Good House Care magazine revealed just who is taking over my show. And have a look at it. Here it is on your screen. Now, my Indian fellow gardener and friend, or let me say former friend, is actually starting his own show. Now, a few weeks ago, as you know, I actually went and I spent a bit of time with Apu, and I've trained him over many years, and he was part of the show. But since then, the power has got to his head, and now he's actually going to be starting his own show. And if that wasn't bad enough, his co-host will be none other, and as you can see on the Vanity Fair cover that's on your screen right now, the actual co-host will be none other than my wife, Mrs. Giuseppe. Now this has infuriated me. Apollo is angry. He's actually very, very angry. And as you can see, he's just making sure that I'm okay. But I am actually, you know, quite furious. Apu, just like your name says, you're a bit of a poo. Because you've backstabbed me. I brought you into this industry, and now you are actually starting your very own show. Now, let me tell you, Apu, and we'll end it here. If a black limousine rocks up to your house and a man gets out wearing a white suit holding a violin case, trust me, it's not a violin in that case. And the tune that he'll play for you, well, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Now, Mrs. Giuseppe, I need to know, is it true that you're actually going to be co-hosting Apu's show?
Oh, hun. Yes, it's true. It is true. I'm sorry, but he was offering a large amount of money. I couldn't help her. I couldn't say no, but money speaks volumes, honey. It's fine, though. It's
Can you
fine.
believe that? If this day couldn't get any worse. Hey, look at that. Shamefully running away. Now, Apu, we're coming for you. But let me just reveal to you, even though Mrs. Giuseppe has betrayed me and gone to Apu's show, I'm still going to be getting her an incredible Mother's Day gift. I've actually made this mother. Now, Mrs. Giuseppe, she loves to travel. So I've actually made her this gift that's on your screen right now. And once we release that slingshot, she'll be traveling very far. I do apologise for that. It's been an emotional few days with all this controversy regarding this being the final episode. But you know, a bit of fan mail. I was contacted by the Premier himself, Mr. Mark McGowan. As you know, he's a huge fan of the show, and he found out this was the last episode. So he actually rang me, and he actually asked and said, you know, Giuseppe, seeing this is your last show, I'm going to relax all the border restrictions for international flight. We want to fly you to Jerusalem. That's right, fly you to Jerusalem. We want you to actually have the original olive tree on your show. That's right, I'm going to be flying to Jerusalem and actually showing you the original olive tree that was there even before creation. My Jerusalem tree, which I showed you a few episodes back, is actually a son of that tree. So Mr. McGowan, thank you. They've put me under police escort straight to the airport, and now we're actually going to be flying right over to Jerusalem. So we'll see you there. Well, g'day viewers. As promised, I've arrived in Jerusalem, and I'm quite excited actually, because behind me is one of the original olive trees that was actually even here before creation. Remember how I spoke about a long time ago that many theologians believe that the olive trees were actually here even before creation. They're actually older than God himself. That's pretty incredible. So I've decided to just come on my own. They only allow one person at a time in this place. So I've flown over. It's been a long flight, but I've gone straight from the airport over to Jerusalem, and I'm just going to show you this incredible olive tree. And then in our next segment, we're actually going to I'm going to show you how to actually cure these olives and make them into delicious, edible olives. So if you just follow me, I'll just show you up here. There's just incredible olive tree, and I'm going to let you in on another secret, that this olive tree actually was actually purchased by Moses. Yes, Moses himself, as in biblical Moses. So after he did the whole, save the Israelites things out of slavery and out of Egypt and all that sort of stuff, once he settled into the promised land, he actually purchased this olive tree from God himself. And so I'm going to show you some of the olives that are on this tree. I'm going to pick some, and then I'm going to head back to Australia, and I'm going to show you how to actually cure these olives. Again, just incredible. Look at these olives that are just off the plant. Beautiful, look at it. This is the tree of Moses in this beautiful city of Jerusalem. So we're going to be heading straight back to the airport right now, and show you how to cure these beautiful olives back in Perth, Western Australia. Well, there you have it, folks. It's been an awesome joy coming to Jerusalem. Thank you to the Premier Mark McGowan for granting me a special exemption to be able to fly here. He's a big fan of the show. But now we're actually going to head straight to the airport. Like I said, we're going to fly straight back to Perth, and we're going to cure these olives and show you how you yourself can have. Obviously they won't be as good because they're not from Jerusalem, but Perth olives can be pretty good themselves. So stay tuned, and we're actually going to be heading to Giuseppe's kitchen, and we're going to be curing these olives. Well, I'm back from Jerusalem. It was a fantastic flight back, and again, thank you, Mr. McGowan, for that incredible opportunity. Now, in front of me here, we have the olives that I picked. Now, these are fresh off the tree. We have your black olives and your green olives. Now, just so you know, there's no such thing as a black olive tree and a green olive tree. They all come off the same tree. There's different types of olives, but if you want them green, you pick them while they're green, but if you want them black, then they mature and they become black. So there's no such thing as two different olive trees. It's actually serious. So some people say, I want green olives. You actually pick them early, and if you want black ones, you let them ripen. And so we've actually got black ones and obviously our green ones. Now put your olives in a container. Now you want any container that you can actually just seal it and make sure that it can be covered in water. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to fill both these containers. Now you can do it in jars. So here we have some that I've actually prepared earlier. These are actually in jars, and black ones normally take 1 to 2 weeks to actually, but after a week you actually change the brine, and then you taste them depending on how it's going. The green ones normally take 2 to 3 weeks. Another thing, some people like to slice every olive before they cure them. You don't have to, it just means that it just helps in the curing process a bit quicker. Sometimes I do it, but today we're actually not going to be doing that because I don't think it's overly important. So what we do, we separate our olives. Do not mix green and black olives, because obviously the green ones take a lot longer to cure than the black ones, because these are a lot more ripe. And you need to mix a brine, so just a salt and water brine, which is a 1/4 cup of salt for every litre of water. Okay, then so you put the water and the salt together, 1/4 cup of salt per litre of water. You boil it, obviously, so that the salt can dissolve, and then you let it cool down, and then you'll put it onto your olives. Now I've prepared some earlier, which I'll bring down. So all this is water and just with actually salt to actually cure the olives. And I'm just going to pour some in there, and we're just going to get enough water in here to actually just cover the olives. Now what I might actually do, this might be a little bit slow, so I can actually get another container. So I'll probably just use a bigger container. So again, we just pour it in. Now we want the olives to be completely covered with this brine. Now if the olives start to float and all that, you can, some people do put like a weight on top so they stay under. Now you can do that, it's not overly necessary. So we're just going to put some more into our green olives to make sure that it's all covered, and I might just pour the rest into here like that, and there you go. So there you go, it's got to be all the way to the top, so we're just going to put a little bit more in there. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to put a cover on those and then keep it for a week. After a week, empty it, wash the olives, redo the brine again. So again, a quarter cup of salt for 1 litre of water, and then put them in once again. You can taste them, but they'll probably still be a bit bitter after a week. After the second week, you don't have to, you can change the brine depending on how they taste, but they probably should be almost ready to eat. Now they can actually, so these are in a salt brine, these can actually stay in the brine for up to 6 months, sometimes even longer, in a dark, cool spot. But once they're cooked, you can actually, not cooked, cured, sorry, you can actually dress them the way you want. This is the way that I like some black ones. So what's in here is all you do is you just get some fresh garlic, okay, so oregano. You don't need to salt it because obviously they've been salted in the brine. You just you jar up with the olives, you put some oregano, or maybe a clove or two of garlic, and then you fill it up with olive oil. So that's actually topped up with olive oil, and these are absolutely delicious and ready to eat. Another way you can do the green ones, which I like to do, is you actually just put them in a container. You put some lemon zest, a little bit of lemon zest, you can put some garlic salt, which I've put on here, and a bit of olive oil, you squeeze the lemon juice in there as well, mix it around, and these are absolutely delicious to eat. So again, you don't really need too many ingredients. There are different ways to cure olives, but this is the way I do it. And you know, if you cure all these, you'll have olives for the whole of winter and beyond. So if you've got any questions, just ask me, but that is how we cure the Jerusalem olives. Well, there you have it, folks. It's time to say goodbye. It's been a great 5 weeks, and from me, my Jerusalem tree, my Roman lawn, it's time to say goodbye. Remember, keep those gardens, everything you've learned, everything you've seen, put it into practice, and you continue to have healthy gardens. So until we see you next time somewhere, thank you and ciao.